Today's discussion is about corporate clubs, the what, why, how, and the challenges. The reason I picked this topic is because I am working on creating a corporate club and sustaining it for the period of last 6 months. I have faced a lot of challenges, and I want to learn from all of you assembled here. If you are facing similar challenges or you have ideas to overcome some of the issues. So take this as an interactive session. I have esteemed guests today, our District 101 Program Quality Director, Abhijit Joshi. We have Area Director B4, Padma Srinivas. We have Area Director C6, Ryan Brown. And we have a panelist, Gustavo. Ryan Brown is also our panelist. So I am going to spotlight the panelists for now. Okay. Panelists can hear and see me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we are going to get started with a first round of introductions. I will be your moderator. Others, feel free to raise your hand or ask a question in the chat. I will read out the question from the chat towards the end. You're free to be muted during the panel and unmute if you have a question. And you're free to turn off your videos if you need to. Let's get started. Let's have a roundtable of introductions. My name is Priya Shastri. I am the Division Director for Division C. I've been a Toastmaster for the last 2.5 years. It has been a great ride, and I have learned a lot. And thanks to my mentors who are present here, their encouragement has helped me to go this long. Over to Ryan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Brown. I've been with Toastmasters since the end of 2018, and I've been with KLA Talk, which is a corporate club. I've taken on roles as a VPE and president there at KLA Talk, so getting an inside perspective of leading a corporate club, and then now also being an area director of seeing it from the outside perspective of how to help influence us. Thank you. On to Gustavo.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Gustavo Romo. I represent the Lumentum Club. Lumentum is a company in the telecommunications arena and producing lasers as well and optical sensors. So I have been with this club for almost 3 years, about a few months before we started the pandemic. And I have now the role of president and BPM for the second year as well. So this club has been around for 10 years already. And we have had high times and lows as well. So right now, I think we are still in the middle or trying to get out of the low membership.
Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you for being here, and thank you for taking the time. Let's go on to our first question. What is the best part of being a corporate club? What is the best part of being a corporate club? That is, if this is your only club, then you can say good things about your club at this time. And we'll come back to the challenges shortly. So what is the best part about being a corporate club member? Gustavo.
Okay. I think it facilitates that we don't have to worry about a venue. Although today is all virtual. Mm-hmm. Even when we have tried hybrid mode, some of the members already move to other states. So I think I don't see a true return to the office. Uh, so that's an advantage. The other one is that the company reimburses us for the fees. And if also we have a big pool of executives that we can use for our open houses that usually attracts members, at least, well, potential members, at least from their organizations as well. I think those are mainly the three.
Thank you. Let's go to Ryan. The same question. What is the biggest advantage of being a corporate club member?
I'm going to just continue on and echo what Gustavo said. The facilities, the infrastructure, not having to worry about that. So looking at the successes in the KLA Talk versus other community clubs I've visited, it's just a given. You don't have to think about the latest and greatest telecommunication hardware and software being available and set up. So it's a big relief. And the other aspect of typically, as long as upper management is on board, you have pretty much universal support through management or managers willing to let their employees participate and pay for it. There are definitely limitations from one company to the next, depending on priorities, but it's very nice. You don't have to worry about that. I'm trying to think of anything else, but Gustavo, I think you hit all the best highlights.
Yeah, the venue is the biggest concern. I think venue is the biggest advantage because you don't have to think about which room will it have the necessary technology. There are fewer technical challenges if we go to work. So that's an advantage. And the other thing is, I think the key thing is getting executives to come and attend your meetings. So that's a big advantage. And I think spreading awareness also becomes much more easier in a corporate club because you have a specific subset of people that you're targeting to join your Toastmasters club. So that adds to the advantage. Thank you. Does anybody have a question yet? Yes, Megan.
I do. So, Gustavo, you mentioned that you thought a corporate club was helpful because you do not see a full return to the office. Could you just expand on how the club is helpful in that respect?
Well, I was trying to give more context that we don't really need a venue. So that was an advantage, but today we don't need it. So we can use, the venue is virtual, right? And also we don't need to worry about having a Zoom account. So we use the Teams communication system, and that's it. And I mean that people will not return to the office because most of the executives already move. So I don't think that they can force anybody to return permanently. And some of our members have also moved. So that's the new reality. But in the other hand, we can expand and try to attract members from out of the state, or maybe some of our colleagues in Canada or Brazil as well. So that's the goal of our coming open house.
Thank
okay,
you,
Megan.
Abhijit, you had a question in the chat. Connection with inside a community club is strong. How can we create such a connection between members in the corporate club? So the question is, connection in community club is strong because they may be your friends or family, but how can we create such a strong connection between members in the corporate club? Anybody wants to take that? Hi, Venu.
Hi. Sorry about that. I was waiting on the Google Meet. The wrong one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the question, I think what we did was, so there are multiple things what we did to build the connection and grow it stronger. The first is with the events. So there are corporate events which usually happens. and we take the opportunity to present our club information. And at least as a president and VP and couple of our club officers goes there and be part of the event. If possible, we were actually MC for one of the event as well. So that's how we started getting the word of it, and people started coming in and asking, "Hey, we don't know that there's a club of this sort happening in our office, and what is that you guys do?" So that's the starting point. The second is we organized a more concentrated discussions among people from different teams, from different orgs, basically, and we had ambassadors, I would call, who actually advocate the managers and the VPs and the directors, saying that, hey, so and such Toastmaster Club exists within our organization, which can be used as a part of communication skills or as a part of goal setting process, what we can do. So those are the two things which really helped us. Of course, we also partnered with every other organization, like for example, inclusion groups, what we have. And we also partnered with every inclusion group so that we at least get the visibility and penetrate through each of the inclusion groups. And it helped not only building a stronger relationship with every employee across the US, but we also could able to reach out to people in Europe. Say, for example, from UK, we had a meeting, and from Netherlands, we had a couple of people. So this really helped, grow our corporate club and at least to the visibility.
Thank you, Venu. Anybody else has answer to the question? Connection, how to build connection between members? Yes, right.
I would like to answer this in the context of also being part of the challenge, depending on a corporate club, but finding how many different types of communication channels and tapping into those that we tend to see more in a community club, where community club is friends, not necessarily as much top down. So part of the challenge I've seen with communication and getting the word out at KLA Talk was there's so many different channels to be used. What's the right one? Do we try them all? But the most success seems to be of the long sustained success of having members come that then invite their friends is more of that grassroots organic approach.
In corporate clubs, how do you get the members to, how do you invite your friends?
So there's a lot of, using KLA as an example, there's a couple different cafeterias or places where people will tend to meet for lunch, and they'll meet with other friends that aren't in their group they wouldn't see throughout the day. Just spreading the word. Also, to add to that, KLA Talk, although it is corporate club, it is open to all outsiders. So we also encourage everyone to bring any family or friends they have at home and just try to remain open, even though it is primarily corporate. But at this point, half of our members are from outside the company.
Thank you. Padma has a question. Padma, go ahead.
Thank you, Priya. I belong to a community club and I'm trying to understand how it would feel to be part of a corporate club. When I give a speech or answer any table topics question, I'm usually telling personal stories. In a corporate club, do you feel awkward sharing personal stories or does it help break the ice? What is your experience?
Can I take it?
Yes, go ahead.
Actually, those are the best speeches, the personal stories. The icebreakers are fantastic because we have people that from other countries. So it's well, in this area, many are immigrants. So everyone has a story how we got here. And the ones that were born in the area, they also have a rich story as well here. And so that really opens that communication and starts creating a bond and really sets an environment that we can trust each other. And instead of us closing, it's the opposite. When we happen to cross paths in a project or in another meeting for work, well, we are ahead, right? Because we already have a relationship. So it's really good. Thank you.
Anybody else wants to handle that? Yes, Venu.
So Padma actually, as Gustav mentioned, this is the best kind of speeches we encourage all our corporate club members to do. The icebreaker, definitely the process, what we have is we talk to this member who is actually trying to give an icebreaker on any of those kind of speeches with a personal story. We guide them and tell them that, hey, bring something personal to this meeting so that everybody gets connected and everybody can talk about it. It's not about awkwardness. It's not about having your weakness out or having your personal story out, but it is all about confidence and communication and basically trusting everybody in the club. And that actually brings and goes a long way, because if once someone comes and talks about their personal story, they are committed, they trust the members, and we go by that. And that's exactly how we started building this club to a strong one.
Thank you, Venu. Does anybody else have a question for the panel? Welcome, Monroe. Monroe is from Rivian Toastmasters. He just joined.
Hi, Priya. Sorry to join late.
Do you want to give a short introduction about yourself? And you can answer a question and then I'll let you go.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Monroe, and I'm currently president of the Rivian West Coast Toastmasters Club. And yeah, I've been president for, I think, a few months now. I took over after Lacey, who was the former president. And since the new year, we've been having weekly meetings, which I think has really helped us stay consistent with attendance and helped us get new members, since prior we were doing it bi-weekly and it was harder to keep track of which were the on and which were the off weeks. So now that we can just say, come by Thursday at 12, I think that's helped a lot with having, both the members that are typically regulars, but also new members have an easier time committing to the meetings.
I had a question earlier for the panel about what are the biggest advantages of joining a Toastmaster corporate club. Do you have an answer to that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is it's easier to feel like you trust the other members because you already have something in common, which is that your coworkers who work for the same company. And I think outside of that, joining just a public Toastmasters club, it's a bit harder because the only thing you have in common potentially with the other people is that you've joined the same club that they've joined. So being part of a corporate club, you already have that shared connection, and it's easier to go forward working off of that than if you were just with strangers.
Thank you. So we see I would say a difference between community and corporate club. In corporate club, the panelists agree that there is a connection built already because you all work for the same company. And in community, the connection is formed through other means, through friends or acquaintance, or just met someone in the park and you're part of the same Toastmaster club or something like that. So I see that there is a difference, and both sides of the member who is a part of two clubs will not realize that unless you actually jump to the corporate side and see how the connections are formed.
Mhm.
That's a good point of reference that I got. Let's go to some of the challenges. So the first one, membership. How do you retain members in corporate club? Anybody? Yes, Venu.
I tell you, it's pretty tough because we had to break even. We had to for after probably maybe a year and a half or 2 years, and we kind of got the momentum now after 2 years of constant follow-ups and kind of a road shows or the event shows what we did. So one thing what we did well and one thing what we did not do well is I can list out. So one thing what we did not do well was a constant follow-up. This is definitely you need in community club as well as corporate club. But the challenge which you will have in corporate club is you also know how busy they are because you're a part of the organization, you know their art, you know the upper executive management, and you know how busy they are. And your hands are tied beyond a certain point where you want to go ahead and ask them, hey, can you do this? Or can you attend this, every Thursday meetings? So that's something which we have to break even. And the way we approach that challenge is we kind of covered for each other. So club officers, we kind of, made sure, hey, one club officer is actually busy, then someone else will go and help the club officer.
So backups.
And, yeah, backups kind of thing. And also we spread out the events. So we don't conduct events at the quarter end because quarter end, most of them are busy because finance, accounting, all the people who are collecting data and presenting and reports to the executive management, everybody is busy. We don't want to do that at the quarter end. So we kind of moved it inland so that everybody can come and attend. And all these actually led to the membership growth. Really, these are all what we did so that we can attract members. But it is slow, I would say. We definitely need patience and constant follow-ups, and then we have to talk to them one-on-one.
Thank you, Venu. Anybody else for the membership question? Yes, Monroe.
Yeah, I think one thing that's helped is having easy roles for people to take. We added joke of the day and tip of the day as 2 roles for each of the meetings. And I think it's easier for someone to take one of those roles because it's very low commitment. It doesn't have the same responsibility that taking one of the typical Toastmaster roles like odd counter or grammarian would. And it gives them something to be accountable for, so that if the next meeting they're not able to make it, it's not just them not attending the meeting in the background, it's them having to say that they're no longer able to fulfill this role that they committed to taking. So I think that's something that's both added some fun to the meetings. It's nice having a cheesy joke to throw in there, and it's interesting to hear a bit of advice someone wants to share with the rest of the group. And it's also a great way for someone to choose something that gives them an extra reason to join that next meeting.
That's a wonderful tip. Thank you, Monroe.
Gustavo, thanks, and I have to run now.
Yeah, bye. Sure. Thanks for joining. Gustavo, do you have a challenge on membership, or are you very happy with the members and everybody is showing up and things are going all good? You can share that as well.
Okay. Yeah, we have had challenging times. The last 2 presidents before me, they burned out, they quit. So I think it's also, you may not like what I'm going to say here, but they also got a lot of pressure from the district or the area, and they say, this is no more. Unfortunately, we lost officers, but we also lost members. Okay, so right now that I am president, I'm very careful not to burn out on my members. Okay, so I may take the burden during 1 year, come here, but I want to take it easy with the rest. And when I delegate things, I'm very careful as well, because one of my officers also quit, also from the club in the first 2 months. She became the VP PR, and as soon as she started to get some pressure from the district, gone. So you be careful with that, because it's true. So the thing is that we are trying to have the meetings in the middle of a work day. And it's true, quarter ends are heavy for, let's say, for people in supply chain. At the beginning of the new quarter is very busy for the people in accounting, closing the books, all right? So we need to also to understand that and give them that space, that time, and respect that. So I think that's a good challenge. So in the other hand, we are lucky now that the members that we have today, they are more mature. We have created a strong bond, a good team, camaraderie. It's easy to share, to support each other. They trust to take roles and start with baby steps, little by little, okay? And yeah, once in a while we ask them to challenge themselves, another speech or take the Toastmaster role, but starting from the beginning. And we understand the capabilities of each in the group. I think that's better.
Thank you.
And an interest, yeah, okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Ryan, do you have any membership information that you want to share, or anything that's going good, going not so good? You can share.
I think one thing that we try to do with membership, because we've had some of the same challenges, especially through the pandemic, but we have some regular longstanding members that are long-time employees, and they have a lot of political pull within their group or within their business unit. So to continuously tap on them to align with the managers to make sure that if anyone looks like they might benefit from Toastmasters, please sponsor them, please, encourage them to come. So that's been a continuous success of our couple, 2 or 3 longstanding members of being able to recruit with that. We do then have a challenge of retention at some point. Of some people will come in and they'll give their icebreaker, or they'll complete Pathways Level 1 and feel this great sense of accomplishment, and the term's over and they don't come back for some reason. We haven't quite mastered retention from that pathway Level 1 fall off. One other thing I want to mention about an aspect of the corporate club that's both a blessing and a curse is that we meet at lunchtime like others do. It's very convenient. You can go to the cafeteria, get your food, come over and join us and eat while we're meeting. So if you have a very busy schedule, you don't have to worry about getting there. The other side of that coin is that, at least at the beginning of the pandemic, there was meeting fatigue, meeting after meeting after meeting. And a lot of our members were saying that, hey, I'm in meetings 7 to 9 a day. This is just too much from a corporate level. And this is something that I think has waned over time. And now that we're exiting the pandemic, I'm hoping that was just a temporary trend.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Those are all valid issues and valid concerns. But something that's across the board. I see that retaining members is a challenge. You have to give them incentives to join, use your political pull, influence the managers or influence the executives in their group to tell them to send members to Toastmasters. And it's more, as Ryan said, it's more easy to get the junior members sometimes, because they are new to the organization. They need to break ice and they need to establish relationships. It's easier to convince them. Once the members get established, long-term employees, they are far harder to get. in Toastmasters because they have other responsibilities, and slowly Toastmasters loses its significance, if I may. There's a question from Megan in the chat. It says, are there any delicate issues with mentoring in a corporate club? Because someone could be assigned to a mentor or a supervisor. And do you have any tips on how mentoring in a corporate club is most effective? So are there any issues with mentoring in a corporate club? And do you have any tips on mentoring? So does any of your clubs have a mentor? Venu, you didn't mention your club. So I'm curious to know which corporate club are you representing today?
I'm representing Proofpoint Toastmaster Club.
Okay.
Proofpoint Toastmaster Club.
Proofpoint. Okay, Proofpoint. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so there are two parts to the question. So we do have mentors, and we kind of have a pool of mentors. Let me just say that, because what we did was initially we saw these new members coming in, and they needed help. And if we have to help them, one or two people, if they help them, they are getting burned out. So what we did was we brought in a pool of people who are interested in mentoring, who are at least in level 2 and above, so that they can at least talk to these people. And fortunately, we didn't run into the issue of having a supervisor being mentored by someone else. That issue wasn't there. But there is another challenge. So say, for example, the new member is a director or above, and who is very close to the executive management level. That's when one of the senior member will actually jump in. It's really not a mentorship. It is probably mostly as a guidance and really about, hey, these are the 5 things you have to do when you prepare a speech, or these are the 3 things. And you probably can, go on from here, because yeah, they will actually do. They actually like that. So it's like, not hands-on, just give them the tips and then move on. So we have pool of mentors. We have people who actually mentor hands-on, as well as, just a guidance as well. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Megan posted a clarification. She said, I don't mean a club mentor, but members mentoring each other. So I think, Venu, you answered the right question. Okay, anybody has a club mentor or mentoring, or members mentoring other members? Any of the clubs have that? I personally feel that I am a club mentor currently for Couchbase Dog Chappers, and I feel that mentoring a club is easier in the initial stages, but you get what you put in, right? So after you put in all the efforts, you're hoping that some of them will take on the leadership roles and start mentoring other new members. That is taking some time. So that is the issue that I face, that they are good to the mentor initially, but slowly there is no feedback to say that, okay, now I will be the mentor to someone else. So that takes time. Yeah. Any other question that anybody wants to ask? Padma, do you have any question?
I'm wondering how the Toastmaster dues works in a corporate club for a non-employee of the club. Does the company still cover it, or do they have to pay from their pocket?
Right. I can speak to this. Because I am part of a corporate club and I am an outsider. So there is individual sponsorship from members or from managers to let their employees come to Toastmasters for free, but we don't yet have a overarching program that covers, let's say, sponsorship of everyone. So that particularly hasn't been a challenge yet. So I'll still continue to pay for myself separately.
How about family of employees?
I think that would fall under the same category where, at least in the current setup, it's only a direct payment from a manager to an employee. So anyone outside of the company would still fall outside of that and have to pay for themselves. But we have encouraged, we've looked at other successful corporate clubs that do it from the top down and say, we believe strongly in Toastmasters and we are happy to sponsor 50 or 100 or however many people. And that is a great goal that we would like to achieve in KLA, but I don't think we have the political backing at this point.
Yeah, Padma, I think only the employees are allowed to claim. At least that was the case in my corporate club. And the employees, families, or members, you can pay for them, and you can allow them to join. Yeah. But the employee himself or herself gets reimbursed.
Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I will go to the last question because we are at 4:42 p.m. I want to wrap up at 5 p.m. and leave some time for just general discussion. The last question is, what keeps you coming back to Toastmasters Club? What keeps you coming back to Toastmasters Club? Yes, I see Venu raising his hand for all the questions first. I think he's the only one who wants to come back. Others want to run away.
I know. I don't think so, but just maybe others are thinking. But what I'm saying is, I love to talk to people and love to mentor people, love to help people. And the passion for that is coming from within me because Toastmasters has transformed me from a person who was very shy to talk and stand in front of people and deliver speeches to a person who wants to raise hands for every question and who wants to talk about everything what's in there. So that's a transformation which I have seen and I have felt. And I want other people who are in my position. I see them coming into the Toastmasters Club. I see them struggling with, doing an icebreaker speech. So that's the moment I really love to help them. And I really want them to be successful in whatever they want to do, right? Whether it is 2 speeches, 3 speeches, doesn't matter. It's the happiness and it's how successful they become by delivering speeches without any filler words or without any of those are not able to articulate properly, without any of those struggles. They're able to express, I think that's their success. And that's what makes me come back to the Toastmasters every now and then, and most of the meetings they attend.
Thank you, Venu, and I hope you keep coming back. Who wants to go next? Gustavo?
Yes. Okay. So for our weekly meetings, really, I think it's the opportunity to have a different session. It's not the typical meeting that we have at work. It's a nice break. Again, it's an opportunity to interact with each other in another level. Even table topics, many times it's just about personal experiences. And even when we don't have mentors, we encourage each other. And there is, when somebody's going to take a new role for the next week, there is always somebody spontaneously offering help. It's not always the VPE who needs to guide them by the hand. There is always somebody offering help, and that's nice. I think that's the main reason that we keep coming.
Great. Brian?
I guess I think about the reasons why I keep coming back to Toastmasters in terms of a baseline. For my own personal benefit, there's the speaking, the leadership, and the meeting facilitation aspects that I really value, just getting that practice every week. I take away just the practice and then come back to a work or a private situation and feel like I'm more talkative or come across in a better light because I've practiced that week. So that's my baseline. But I think the thing that I get the most enjoyment out of is finding situations where there seems to be someone that is hung up or struggling on something that appears to be something that I've worked through in the past, and a case where I can share my personal story and show some vulnerability in how I overcame that, and help open them up more and feel more comfortable that we're all in this same thing together. And seeing the motivation that comes out of that is so valuable.
Wonderful. Thank you, all the panelists. Can we have a big round of applause for the panelists? Thank you for taking the time on a busy weekday. And I appreciate all your answers, appreciate all the effort that has gone into this, and keep doing what you're doing, because you are doing an excellent job. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But thanks a lot. And I will stop the recording and I'll open up for any other discussions.